Welcome to the ManhwaCappedverse. If you enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. The world ends, and people flee in panic. He grabs the nurse, but a zombie breaks in. Desperate, he pushes her toward it and runs. The hero arrives just in time and saves her. They rush to the poison room. He injects all the viruses. She's terrified and steps back. He's traveled to AD 2035, where Zeus's will created a purgatory, wiping out over 90% of humans, turning them into fiery monsters. Some survivors may gain powers, don magical costumes and artifacts, and return to Earth. In my past life, I worked hard for Heloise's luck, completing hundreds of missions. One more failure would anger the Dark Lady, who would destroy me, the former Earthmaster. The human race was so wretched. I was unhappy and hateful. As I was consumed by an abyss, my desert pendant turned back time, and I awoke in a hostel. After a moment, I realized I was back at the start of purgatory. I vowed to crush Hercules for what he did to me recently, with vengeance. In my past life, I had a common talent. In this life, I needed to awaken it before the apocalypse. Remembering a record, the talent activated 10 days before the trial. To upgrade it, viruses were needed. Disguised, I went to a hospital, sneaked in, and found a zombie. I inserted a needle into its blood. Within seconds, I left unnoticed. The zombie virus was deadly. I hesitated, knowing I might not survive. Remembering my past weakness, I took a deep breath to gain strength. I injected the virus into my arm. As the dark red liquid entered, pain hit me hard. My face went pale, blood vessels clotted, heart pounding. I collapsed, dreaming of Hercules, who tempted me to submit, but I resisted. In this generation, I vowed to defeat you and clear my mind. Sunlight filled the dorm as time passed. My roommates returned from the internet cafe, shocked. I woke up, rushed to the bathroom, and saw the virus fading in the mirror. Elated, I felt my talent rise. I upgraded my power. A voice said, "Congrats, you're a new Walker power with early awakening." I opened the system panel and saw Poison Monarch, the highest level. I never imagined my power would be so great, allowing full absorption and use. I saw what was ahead. I could create new viruses, but my skills were limited. I needed more viruses to grow stronger, so I went to the nearby hospital. I forgot it was the first wave of the zombie crisis. People fled in panic when they saw me. An old man yelled to run, but I smiled. I got the virus upgrade, restored the girl's mind, and she thanked me. I copied my upgrade experience. A big zombie rushed at me, but I used my skill and felt energized. After this upgrade, I hunted in Schmidt's hospital, hearing zombies outside the fourth-floor bathroom where I hid. Liu Feng, appearing lifeless, observed the nurse he had pursued for many years. A wicked thought crossed his mind. I've been chasing you for so long, and you still won't let me have any enjoyment before I die. Suddenly, a corpse barged in. Liu shoved her towards it and leaped out the window. From the fourth floor, there was a warm nurse lying there, possibly able to be saved. I figured the army would soon seal off the area, so I needed someone to guide me. I managed to extract the zombie virus, hoping to bring her back from unconsciousness. She eventually woke up, expressed her gratitude, and I felt relieved she had returned. The nurse, about 6'6" in a worn uniform, stood out. Suddenly gunshots were heard outside. I needed him to take me to the virus room. We reached the lab with various viruses. Seeing the girl's shock, I absorbed many viruses into my brain. The system warned of evolving zombie viruses. Blacklight, departmental, and zombie viruses were there. Blacklight viruses could heal me, so I chose them. The nurses warned of a zombie coming, perfect for testing my technique. I rushed, grabbed the zombie's neck, and started absorbing. I was thrilled to be here. Tentacles suddenly cover my hand, consuming the corpse. As they disappear, the body is gone, and my strength returns. The girl is scared at first, but then relieved, trusting I won't hurt her. She says her name is Liu Ruyan. Suddenly, gunshots sound outside. The army is near. I rush to the rooftop with Liu Ruyan. As we arrive, a mutated zombie attacks. I can't dodge, and my arm is cut, bleeding. Liu Ruyan sees my wound and smiles deeply. Feeling anxious and excited, I thought about the virus evolving if inhaled. The zombie lunged, I dodged and kicked it, narrowly escaping. My quick moves saved me. I devoured 2 corpses, restoring energy, and hit the mutated corpse hard. It hit the wall, leaving a shallow mark, roaring furiously. As I planned to take him down, Liu Ruyan broke the cabinet, grabbed a fireproof axe, and tossed it to me. With the axe, I dodged the zombie, striking its chest. Black blood erupted. After 300 rounds, I stepped on his head for the final blow. Suddenly, he punched my chest, pinning me. Liu Ruyan looked worried as the zombie tried to tear me apart. I laughed, and tentacles emerged from my chest, engulfing the zombie. When I touched it, the zombie was completely devoured, and I acquired its skills. I grinned evilly. Although the black light virus wasn't enough, I knew I'd rise soon. Soldiers appeared, but their bullets were useless against me. With Liu Ruyan's help, I managed to reach the rooftop, got her address, and followed Su Xing back home. Once inside, Liu Ruyan insisted on checking me. I assured her I was fine, but allowed her to examine me. Seeing her cute face, I took off my shirt, admired my muscles, and felt a sense of pride. Liu Ruyan blushed, pointing at my arm, saying, "There's still a mark." I scratched my head and joked, "Want me to heal fast? Let me eat you." She seemed to like me. Liu Ruyan said, "If you want to eat steel, go ahead." I hugged her, saying her home was perfect. I didn't know he was clean and asked me to bathe, so I asked him to rub my back. At night, Ruyan woke in my arms, thanking me for a second life. He struggled onto me, and the night passed. Next morning, I got messages, including one from Mr. Sung, a suitor I hadn't replied to lately. At breakfast, Liu Ruyan's phone rang. 2 men claimed to be Song Zixiong. When he approached me to be his daughter and son-in-law, I knew why. At Liu Ruyan's house, I guessed he had info. He's top in the Black-White Secret Society. I smiled and asked why. A man in the hospital filmed my fight and found Liu Ruyan's soldier, Liu Feng, on the survivor list. Seeing Liu Feng's name, my face darkened. Liu Ruyan had told me Liu Feng tried to rape her and pushed her into a corpse, getting her bitten. I had to avenge her. But Song Zixiong wanted me to be her man to reveal Liu Feng's location. I smiled faintly. Auntie Song underestimated me. I showed my skill and stood with my hands. Song Zixiong was taken aback, yet he possessed knowledge that others lacked, and he couldn't be overpowered by mere claws. I inquired, "Why are you drawn to an older aunt like me when there's a young nurse nearby?" I leaned closer, gently stroked his face, and remarked that a mature woman is indeed luckier, then brought up Nosferatu. Song Zixiong, a remarkable man versed in both black and white, wouldn't be easily subdued, but he agreed to collaborate. He softly confessed he sought a man capable of conquering him, one who could stand against monsters, consume 10,000 caddies of frozen beef, and still yearn for the monsters. As I drew near to my Zhao whispered to conquer another day. Later, he said Zhao from Jiangcheng military region negotiated to use my freezer for bodies and survivors. Corpses were usual size, none this big. I thought they might mutate more under extreme conditions. Then I remembered 3 odd events, like bombings. Seeing the mutated zombie excited me, thinking it could help me evolve. I reassured Song Zidome, saying I'd arrive soon. Meanwhile, the zombie broke through, grabbed a soldier, and was unharmed by weapons. As the officer was stuck, Song Zidome called to stop. When Song Zidome spoke, Zhao was puzzled. Song Zidome added that ordinary weapons can't harm the monster, and it would be futile for his men. Better to cover the wounded and retreat. Luckily, I arrived just in time to save the girl. I didn't realize she had grown so strong. Her body was like a rock. A single blow shocked my arm. As the corpse attacked again, I maneuvered, stopped, and struck several wounds. The corpse growled and swung furiously. I quickly distanced myself, making it roar and yell. It swung with all its might, and I dodged easily. Captain Zhao was shocked by the scene. Shocked, I ranted about the monster. Song Zidome licked his lips secretly. My partner was interrupted by the monster. Standing in the busted freezer, I saw snowflake beef and activated my devouring technique. I devoured tons of beef, regaining strength as a system voice echoed. The corpse growled and attacked. I was thrilled as the wall collapsed. The corpse searched, lost in thought. My eyes cold, I unleashed ancient claws, delivering a killing blow. A purple shockwave hit the corpse's brain, dazing it. I wrapped devouring tentacles around it, and the black light tentacles sucked it. I was thrilled to survive. The virus began to pour into my body. Captain Zhao was alarmed and said, "This isn't human, it's a monster." As I absorbed the corpses, Zhao was ready to launch a missile to eliminate us. Just as he was about to give coordinates, Song Zixiong warned him to be quiet. 5 seconds later, I absorbed the zombie, unlocking a new skill, virus infiltration. The commander ordered the army on alert. Song Zixiong warned Zhao, "Don't forget what you said." I coldly observed the surroundings, ignoring the troops, focusing on the virus ability and black light on my arm. After the drastic enhancement, my dark force claws evolved again. Heavy Hammer smiled at his form. The rare corpse's inner elixir was the greatest gain today. It could build equipment or a growing wall of flesh. Song Ziqiang approached me. I collected the elixir and met Lu Li, a beautiful black silk woman just saved, a popular netizen and radio reporter in Jiangcheng. I softly said, "You filmed me in the hospital." Lu Li thanked me and offered to delete the video. I told her to keep it. The company's commander interrupted. Commander Huang Xinchu invited me for tea to discuss a case I knew. Hearing Huang Xinchu's name, my face fell. In my past life, he recruited awakened ones for national duty, and when powerful, he targeted ordinary awakened ones. I was among them. We fought hard, but starved, and those who resisted were called traitors. Song Ziqiang noticed my reaction and said coldly, "I'll handle it." He approached Zhao Lianchang. As a leading figure in Jiangcheng, Song Ziqiang was as strong as Huang Xinchu. Facing Zhao Lianchang, who ignored national justice, Song Ziqiang coldly said he wasn't qualified to challenge an army captain, leaving Zhao Lianchang unsure of himself. "What's happening?" When the subordinate next to me suddenly reported that among the isolated survivors was Liu Feng, the son of the deputy director of the hospital, who was not easy to handle. Upon hearing this news, I smiled evilly and immediately said to ask him to come out. Liu Feng was brought over very quickly, but he was still naive enough to think that it was the phrase, "My father is the director of the hospital," that had frightened us lowly people. I quietly told him that Ruyan told me that he was going to kill you in bed last night, and as he froze, I backed up and shouted that he had been infected and was going to turn into a zombie. At this, Liu Feng was furious, and now I rushed at him, "You son of a bitch." However, in the next second, his body distorted and his pupils dilated, and he instantly turned into a corpse. Nodding, I told Song Zidome, "You've done well today. Here's a secret." He was impressed by my power and said, "Why call me Zidome?" He took my hand, saying, "Shall I be your man tonight?" I smiled. "Depends on your performance." I got into his Mills 7, heading to his place, checking rewards for killing mutated necromorphs. I found 2 skill books, Berserk Bloodlust and Muscle Enhancement. They have side effects and cooldowns, not useful for me now, but valuable to others. The 6 gold coins from the Flesh Mountain Zombie helped me form the 01 group. Pioneers like me are organizing their own groups. We soon reached the secluded villa, Sung Tzu Dome. I explained how the desert was coming. This should help you manage the situation and seize its opportunities. The dome knew no ordinary man could survive in the last days. He asked if this info was enough for survival, and how to be my protector. I said I needed loyalty like a dog to its master, not useless rubbish. He froze, afraid to admit wanting loyalty. I mocked him, saying after the world's end, his wealth would be worthless except for beauty. Even if he and his daughter survived, they'd be playthings. Songzi Dome asked the difference between being my loyal dog and others' plaything. I smiled, saying the difference is I can make him stronger. You remain the world's most powerful queen. Song Zidome hesitated no more, sensing he'd miss a key chance. He knelt, pledging loyalty. Seeing Jiang Cheng's queen at my feet excited me. The phone rang. It was Song. Confused, he asked why I answered my mom's phone. I smiled, saying she was eating and couldn't talk, urging him to return as it was important. Song wanted to speak, but I hung up. He vowed to bring me under his groups. Song Zidome, eating. paused and looked at me pleadingly. I hope I can protect his daughter till the end. I smiled, touched his head and said, work hard, and he won't become a monster when purgatory comes. Song Zedong said, thank you, my lord. Time flew by. Then, a Rolls-Royce arrived with a gift for Song, complaining about Chen Bo. Song Zedong told him not to talk as he exited the car. Meanwhile, Song Zedong's men and I reached a warehouse, once an underground den, now filled with zombie crops and gamblers. I activated my wrist to kill mode, the iron door opened, and hundreds of zombies roared out. Song, terrified, watched Liu Ruyan use her phone to visualize the zombies. When I saw the formula and saw it coming at me quickly, I saw that the zombie reaper's name was a zombie revelation. All attributes +5, +5% for zombie damage. 500 copies of the zombie virus had been collected and could be exchanged for the zombie virus serum formula by exchanging the virus points in the zombie virus section in the assignment of the zombie virus. Now that I have the formula for the zombie virus, it means I have the power of life and death over most of the people. Then I called Song Zedong and the others in to help them adapt to the end of the world and also to train them. I've just left a few weak zombies, one for each of you. Who's going to go first? Just as the yin and yang had fallen, Chen Li attacked the zombies and with a beautiful over-the-shoulder fall, he knocked the zombies to the ground, and with a loud kaboom, the zombies fell to the ground. With a loud kaboom, the corpse lost its life. Seeing this, I was satisfied. Quick and decisive, worth nurturing. Next was Song Ziqiang. With a bat, he smashed the zombie's head, but his strength was lacking. Against multiple zombies, he'd be at risk. Liu Ruyan was overpowered due to weakness, but used anatomy knowledge to survive. I sighed. One not as good as the other. Unexpectedly, Song hadn't fought yet, but was so scared he fell and urinated. Disappointed, I called Song Zedong, who was comforting his daughter, to continue searching for the corpse and arranged for Song to fight. Song Zedong, worried, looked at his daughter. I gave him the virus prescription. Song Zisheng was quite surprised and promised to handle the situation. I explained the method to him, and he thanked me for it. Later on, I checked my phone for any replies to my earlier posts. Many people thought the video was fake, and some even called me crazy. However, one private message stood out. It was from a Class S Spirit Master. After chatting for a bit, I added him to the 01 group. He mentioned Shui Chuan, another awakened one. I was thrilled because in my past life, emperors sought out strong men. Recruiting him would be pivotal. The next morning, Lu Li had a conversation with Song Ziqiang. The corpses were collected by the forces of the Lord of Jiangcheng and sent to the container yard near the yard head. I sent some men to try to get more information. It was now the appointed time, but they didn't come back. At that moment, a voice suddenly came out. There was no need to wait any longer. The two men then smashed into Liu Li's face. The man gave her an enthusiastic wave. Liu Li looked up and realized that she'd been found out long ago. Meanwhile, in Song Zedong's private villa, I was chatting with the newest member of the chat group, the 4S Awakened, when Song Zedong came to me urgently and said, I've got information that Lu Li has been captured, and all the corpses have been sent to Mankai Container Depot, but Lu Li has been captured, and they've demanded that I negotiate with them. Listen. Song Zedong knelt down and said, My lord, Lu Li is my protege. He won't be sentenced. He's conducting an investigation. The issue is with his men. Seeing his determination, I replied, I'll save him. The man said, Lu Li, come drink with me. Lu Li resisted, so the man smashed the glass. Refuse the wine, and you'll face the penalty. He poured more wine, saying, Don't be foolish. I spared you for Song Zipo's sake, but if he submits, he's mine. If not, you're just my toy. I then appeared and cut a steak on the table. The man was shocked to see someone quietly sitting there. I walked to Lu Li with a steak, saying, This steak's good. As I neared, the man backed away, asking, Who are you? I ignored him, telling Lu Li, I'm here to take him home. The man regained confidence, sat, shook his wine, and said, The Song Dome sent you. You must be a forerunner. I untied Lu Li, saying, The dome's waiting outside. The man then realized Song Zedong was with us. He said, You're a fast learner. Didn't know the Queen of Jiangcheng was tamed by you. He ordered wine and asked for my help to become King of Jiangcheng. The man appeared utterly shocked when I refused, slamming his glass as he savored his wine. I calmly explained, I witnessed you creating zombies. It's better to remain alive than dead. My skills are not for you. I'm level 3S. He bragged about killing and acquiring attributes, claiming he would find out after killing me. Releasing the Gundam's grip, he desired my attributes. I replied confidently, "You cannot." Effortlessly, I blocked her attack, and she charged at me. I summoned my immense power and hammer, crashing it down forcefully, shattering the ground beneath us. 3 minutes remained. The woman, seeking adventure, took on a risky mission. To save Lu Li, I faced an S-class foe. He attacked fiercely. I dodged, countered, and sent him flying. He returned, but I blocked and struck. He sneered, "Is that it? Aren't you a third grader?" I smiled, knowing he hadn't seen my true power. In his intense fury, his energy struck me with great force. "Thief! I'll crush you!" he yelled, throwing me aside. "You're nothing but a bluffer, just a mere critter," he sneered with disdain. He spat ink, and the system alerted me to the viruses that were draining his blood. His fierce expression faded as I calmly said, "Those viruses took time. How do you feel now?" He paused, accepting his fate, and then, in a fit of rage, launched a final attack. The vile man ended his own life, and the boy emerged victorious. It was my move. A black tiger, heart of gold, a cry, a kick to the chest. I said coldly, "Vile. I told you my powers aren't ordinary." The system prompt went off. Blacklight virus completed awakening, boosting attributes, evolving blacklight swallowing. The system panel brought joy. Killing the awakened dropped zombie claws and Class C biohazard drawing. They're mine now. I remembered, from a beaten slave to the highest awakened. And, as Chen Bai counted the beauties, I felt like the Lord of Heaven. I left the warehouse, and Song Zedong, looking sexy, opened the car door. In the car, I told Song Zedong that with my current strength, small monsters weren't helpful. I explained the plans to improve abilities and what needed doing before the day's end. At the villa, I enjoyed the night view when a knock came. Song Zedong, in alluring attire, reported they had done what I asked. The villa was safe from the last day's descent, allowing us to take control. Song Zedong subtly asked, "Do you need us to serve you?" "Sorry, can't help now. Let me know if I can do more. Thanks." When the red moon finally arrived, a deep darkness engulfed the entire city, and the man hurried away to compete with the voice of a god. The world had ended, monsters appeared everywhere, and a virus mutated over 80% of humanity. Survivors evolved, gaining more strength through experience. Mysterious realms and rifts emerged, with new races joining the ongoing life-and-death struggle. Silken White clenched his fist, pondering whether it was a danger or an opportunity, relying on his strengths. Suddenly, the system's voice echoed, and the sand filter of time recognized its masters and started binding. I looked back in amazement. I realized time had stopped. Everyone was frozen, even the plane. Auras flooded into me, and the system bound me. I could now go back to the past, no more regret pills needed. Did I have regrets, like missing a girl, or not studying hard? For those who love this hospital, you'll be rich tomorrow. No regrets. But I must wait 72 years to cool down. Thanks to the leaky cauldron, I revived and gained another skill, retaining my current state with just a 1-hour cooldown. I'm thrilled to be nearly immortal, free from worries and fear. Song Zedong's voice reached me, and time seemed to feel normal. I warned them that night was dangerous, advising them to secure the villa and prepare for a hunt. By morning, the city lay in ruins, with criminals at the villa gate. Song Zedong swiftly defeated them. Lu Li mentioned that my master, Sister Zedong, had evolved with an S-grade skill, transforming objects into amethyst crystals for both attack and defense. I have the ability to see target attributes to locate water crystals. Joining us is Song Zichong's bodyguard, a swift and deadly assassin, feared by S-grade awakened individuals. A bodyguard called for help, and a nurse awoke with a unique breastfeeding technique, a B-grade, keeping many alive. I reached the secret base, and Song updated me on the situation. I nodded, knowing my sisters evolved, and I had to rely on myself to survive. Trusting the man in front of me, I told him to wait until evening. I had urgent tasks. A sound and strong wind swept me to Jiangcheng University. I recalled seeing a sky sign on the first day of the last day in my past life, realizing its meaning too late. Now, I'm at Jiangcheng University. After having easily disposed of a group of small microphones, I looked up into the sky and saw one of them speeding towards me, remembering that in a previous life, the head of a god had come down here in the form of an avatar, a sign that all evolved beings would have liked to see, and then a feminine voice interrupted my recollection. Now, as a man of two worlds, I was already tempted to take his place, and it would be a great honor for me to do business with you. I had the pleasure of hearing about your divine, kind, fair, generous, rich, and powerful god of trade, Ledogar, who had just finished with a foreigner. After I had looked around for a medical student, and the only answers I got were from either the civil or mechanical generation, all of whom were chin-schooled, hard-working men, I was pointed to the panicked foreigner, who was in a panic, and who had been killed. A foreigner, who was in a state of panic. The girl claimed she was from medical school. She insisted on her innocence, saying she had a yellow heart despite being white, and emphasized she was the yellow type. Everyone laughed. The girl at the table turned away in shame. Yang Nu trembled with fear. Thankfully, another girl said she told the foreigners not to beat them. I told Yang Nui to stay. Others could go to Dongshan Villa in Jiangcheng and use my name, Chen Bai, for help. They looked confused. Leaving school meant facing zombies and likely death. I told them bluntly that zombies were evolving, and staying meant facing death if they didn't leave. The herd thanked me for guiding them to the villa. As they left, the goat girl asked, "Can I go with them?" A suspicion arose, and she said, "You like foreign winks, so you want wannabe wives to keep me. Is that it? Please don't hurt me. I'll be your girl." I smiled and said, "You're wrong. I'm not interested in wannabe wives, goat girls. I just want you to take me to the hospital for something." She lowered her head, apologizing. Then in shock she said, "Chen, don't humiliate me. I haven't been ridden yet. If you don't believe me, I can prove it." The system panel appeared, saying, "I'm curious about him." I replied, "This picture's too long, skipping 3 hours." The girl asked, "Can't you rest before the hospital?" I said, "No." I hugged her waist, and soon we were at the hospital's research floor. Yannick said, "You're flying faster now." I ignored him. Yannick repeated, "You're faster now." Yang Nui mentioned bacteria and viruses on the 3rd floor in a hidden room underground. We went to the virus room and I smiled at the vial colors, releasing the virus absorbent for flu types like pseudo B, B, C, and Mycobacterium influenza. Then the system panel appeared, saying, "This is the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and comment for the next part. Thank you for watching."